Alright, so we've got some crazy rumors over the past couple of days suggesting that the Eagles could potentially make a trade to acquire one of these superstar pass rushers to replace Haason Reddick, but is there really any chance whatsoever that either one of these things actually happen? Also, Sidney Brown just gave us a massive update on his ACL injury that makes it seem like he could be back much sooner than we expected. Meanwhile, it looks like the Eagles and Howie Roseman could be looking at making a big draft trade, and Brandon Graham seems to be preparing for a life after football as he went on TV and talked about the Eagles' upcoming season and their high expectations, which includes the hype for Saquon Barkley as the new Philly running back continues to work hard to prepare for this new chapter of his career. So let's talk about that and all the other latest news from the past few days, and we won't waste any time. Let's get straight into it. Okay, so let's start off this video by wishing yet another Eagle a happy birthday, as Milton Williams just turned 25 years old on Saturday. And Milton is a guy who I am actually really interested to watch this season because, I mean, he's still young, he showed a ton of promise to start his career, and he's just never really had a big opportunity. But now entering the final year of his rookie contract, Fletcher Cox is obviously gone, so Milt is going to get that opportunity to be this team's third defensive tackle, and I really wouldn't be surprised to see him take full advantage of it and have a breakout year in 2024. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see, but for now, huge shout out to Milt and drop a like to wish him a happy birthday. Now moving on from that, one of the biggest pieces of Eagles news over the past few days was obviously the Jordan Mailata extension, as the star left tackle is now under contract through the 2028 season, and he's being compensated as one of the best tackles in the game, and very deservedly so. So now that the extension got done, Mailata had a press conference where he said a few interesting things, with one of those things being that he's just honored that he has the chance to play his entire career in the city of Philadelphia.
It's first and foremost, it's an honor to be even, be able to play at one club. I've always wanted to be a player that's played for one team and one team only for their career, and there are so few that get to do that. And so, to be a part of history and be a part of the club and the culture that we're trying to continue to build is an honor, and I'm very grateful to the organization.
I think all Eagles fans certainly hope that Mailata ends up spending the rest of his playing days in the city of brotherly love, and this extension obviously bodes well for that, so it's just really, really exciting. And something else that's obviously very exciting that we've been talking about for weeks now is the Birds signing Saquon Barkley, and Jordan Mailata is very excited about that too, as he gave this pretty funny response when he was asked about his reaction to when the Eagles signed Saquon.
What were your thoughts when they signed Saquon?
Babe, where were we? I was in the middle of the restaurant. I was talking to my wife. You're not babe. You're not babe. You're definitely not babe. I think I was we were in Italy somewhere, and we're at dinner, and I just get a tweet saying, we just signed Saquon Barkley, and I started losing my mind. I was like, what? And I started swearing because I'm still working on trying not to swear, but let's say I was swearing in Italian. I don't know how Howie Man does it. I don't know how he does it. Boss Man just does his thing. So I was pretty stoked about that. I'm not going to lie to you.
It's honestly just going to be so much fun to watch Barkley run behind guys like Jordan Mailata and Landon Dickerson and Lane Johnson. Just the great offensive line as a whole that the Eagles have. I mean, he's going to be a whole different level running behind an actually competent run-blocking O-line, assuming he stays healthy, of course, and I honestly just cannot wait to watch it. And he's already working really, really hard to get ready for it, as we've seen videos of him training throughout the entire offseason, so this only adds to the amount of hype that there already is. So again, I'm really just so excited to watch Saquon suit up for the first time as an Eagle. And someone else who is also excited about this is Eagles legend Brandon Graham. I mean, he's obviously been playing against Barkley for years now, so I'm sure for him, it's pretty great to get on the same side as Saquon, and he was also the first Eagle to greet him when he first arrived at the Birds practice facility.
Hey, what up, baby? Hey, what up, baby? Just wanted to say what up. I just happened to come out and you just on your way, man. So just wanted to give you some love.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey, man, can't wait to go try to do this thing together.
Yeah.
Go enjoy yourself, man.
Sure.
Get that love, baby.
Yeah, I'm gonna hit you.
And now since then, BG even got another chance to speak on the Barkley signing, as he made a TV appearance on ESPN and SportsCenter this weekend where he talked about a ton of things, including the Saquon signing, as well as him entering his final year and the new defensive coordinator Vic Fangio. And I honestly just thought it was really cool to see BG do this because, we all know that this is going to be Graham's last year. He said in the past that this is going to be his farewell tour, and then after that, he's going to retire. So him going on TV and just doing this, I think gives us a little bit of a glimpse into what he might decide to do after football. I mean, I personally think that Brandon Graham would be great on TV and in the media. He obviously has the personality for it, and he did great when he went on this week. So I guess we'll see if he actually does end up going that route. But for now, it'll just be great to watch BG's final year, and hopefully the Eagles are able to send him out the right way. Speaking of which, Graham also spoke on the Birds' expectations for this next year, and he laid out some pretty big goals.
Expectations are high, as always, every year. Being in Philly, the fan bases, as you know, on top of the media, it's a different thing. It's two of the same. They both passionate in both areas, and so the fans, that's all they got is the Eagles, and Eagles is top dog in Philly. And then the media want to try to find their way to get us to go against each other, even though they are Eagles fans too themselves. But you know, everybody got a job to do, so we got to make sure as a team that we don't let none of the outside noise interfere with what we got going on. And I think that's the hardest part with every team. And as you know, Coach Reed leading the Chiefs as he led, I've been a part of it. I know how he run his organization, and it's so good to see him, just finally get over that hump that he couldn't get over with the Eagles. But now I'm hoping that we are going on our road.
Now, I will say this. I do 100% think that the Birds are going to have a chance this year, although, to be fair, I am an Eagles fan, so I'm definitely biased. But, I mean, you can't say that they don't have a great team on paper, and now it's just about actually building the chemistry and the culture and putting everything together, and I really am confident that they will be able to do that next season. But I will say, admittedly, one move that they just made recently is definitely not going to help them accomplish that goal this year, and that's, of course, trading Haason Reddick to the Jets, as the edge rusher has been their best defender over the past 2 years, and I've gone in depth on this move in previous videos and basically just explained that while it sucks, it does make some sense, and it was going to be really, really hard for the Eagles to keep him, along with everyone else that they've wanted to, especially at his age. So he was just a victim of the business of the NFL, and the trade just kind of had to get done. So it definitely does stink, but at the same time, I do think the Eagles have a decent plan in place to hopefully try and replace his production with the guys that they already have on the roster, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they won't go out and try to add somebody else as a replacement, as there has been some speculation over the past few days that the Eagles may try to swing a trade for potentially disgruntled star at the edge rusher position. And before we go any further into either one of these scenarios, I do just want to say that this is purely speculation. These are things that I've seen maybe somewhere on social media or other people mention over the past couple days. We are at that point in the offseason right now, so why not look into the possibilities, right? So the first of the two names that I've seen brought up recently as a potential trade candidate for the Eagles is Jaguar star edge rusher Josh Allen, and this mainly comes from the fact that Allen seems to be growing more and more frustrated with the Jags organization. I mean, last offseason, him and the Jags couldn't agree to terms on a long-term extension, so he played out his contract season, and he put up career numbers with a total of 17.5 sacks, but he didn't have the chance to get a long-term extension done this offseason either, at least not yet, as the Jags decided to just place their franchise tag on him, and as of the recording of this video, no long-term extension has been agreed upon. So all this has seemed to have contributed to him growing a little bit more frustrated with the Jaguars organization, and now recently, things seem to only be escalating, as the Jags continue to fall behind the Texans in their division, with of course Houston just trading for Stephon Diggs, making them the clear-cut favorite in the AFC South. And out of frustration, Allen liked this tweet basically calling the Jags scared and just blasting their hesitancy to actually go all in and make big moves. So if Allen does end up getting fully fed up and wants out of Jacksonville, could the Eagles actually be a realistic trade partner? I mean, I don't know. The Eagles do call on everybody, and they have made some surprise splash trades before. I mean, A.J. Brown obviously comes to mind, but you do have to take in consideration that, like Reddick, you would have to pay Allen a massive extension, not to mention what it would take to actually trade for him. So honestly, if I'm being completely and fully unbiased, I really don't think that this is going to happen. It's certainly not impossible, but it does seem pretty unlikely to me, although if it did happen, I would absolutely love it, and out of these two scenarios, I do think that it's the more likely one. But again, just with the money situation and the fact that they would then have to shell out a massive long-term extension for Allen, I just don't know how realistic it is, especially since they still have some extensions to get done with some of the players in their current roster, and the fact that they didn't give it to Reddick. Now, obviously, again, Reddick is much, much older than Allen is, but still, this one's tough for me. I'm going to say it's pretty unlikely, but not impossible. I would love it, but again, I just don't think it's going to happen. But what do you guys think? But the same way I would love that move, I would also love it if they were able to steal away their biggest rival's best player, and that, of course, is Micah Parsons. And even though, of course, that obviously sounds ridiculous, I only mention it because in addition to all the speculation all over social media over the years that Micah secretly wants to be an Eagle, we now have a new very interesting piece of news coming out regarding Parsons, saying that his behavior is starting to wear thin in the Cowboys organization, as Shan Sheriff of a Dallas radio station called 105.3 The Fan said this on air.
I have heard from way too many people this offseason. Way too many. I'm talking about at least 4 different people that Micah has worn thin there. Now, I don't know how much is true and how much it actually hurts. I don't know whether this is the behavior of a typical superstar. I don't know how damaging it is, but all I do know is this. I've heard from way too many people. If Micah Parsons was out of there, there'd be a decent amount of people inside the Ford Center at the Star in Frisco smiling or breathing a sigh of relief. That is my hot take statement that to me is really close to factual about just dealing with him.
Now, could that just be made-up media BS? Possibly. I mean, I don't know who this guy is or how credible his sources are, but if it is true, let's just hypothetically say it is, and Micah is starting to wear thin in that organization and they hypothetically would want to move on, then maybe the Eagles could call and give him their best offer. But that being said, I gotta say, there is absolutely 0% chance of the Eagles actually successfully trading for Micah Parsons, because there's just absolutely no shot that the Cowboys would trade him to their biggest rival in the Eagles if a trade was even on the table in the first place, and I almost guarantee you that it's not. I mean, the Cowboys are not going to trade Micah. It's just not going to happen, and they've already picked up his 5th-year option for 2025, so any chance of Micah actually becoming an Eagle is going to have to wait until the 2026 offseason when Micah is currently set to become a free agent. But all that being said, what do you guys make of all the drama that's unfolding down in Dallas with Micah Parsons, even though the Eagles obviously have no chance of trading for him? Now, those two splash trade scenarios aside, a more realistic way that the Eagles could look to replace Reddick is in this year's upcoming draft, as there's been a ton of speculation that the Eagles could potentially be looking to draft an edge rusher now that Haas is gone, as they've already had top 30 visits with guys like Chop Robinson from Penn State, as well as the very talented UCLA's Laiatu Latu, who's a guy like Chop that has a lot of potential, and they've also been linked to other guys as well, so you do have to wonder if the Eagles might actually end up taking somebody at the edge rusher position, but whoever they have their eyes on, it seems like they could be very aggressive in going up to try and get them, as a new report suggests that Howie Roseman could potentially be looking to trade up to get his guy, with smaller NFL source Chad Forbes saying that the Eagles may be discussing trade-up scenarios with the Seahawks, who are currently sitting at pick number 16 overall. So I would watch out for that, because Howie has traded up in 4 out of the last 5 drafts, I believe, in the first round. So this could definitely happen in my opinion, and it'll definitely be interesting to see what the Eagles do as we get closer and closer to draft night. And it'll also be very interesting to see just how soon Sidney Brown can return and what kind of role he could play for the Eagles defense in 2024. As of course, he suffered an ACL tear in the Eagles' final game of the regular season last year, but it seems like his recovery really couldn't be going any better, as he gave this massive update on it just days ago.
If you really want me to, no, I feel great. I've been kind of in and out of Philly. I worked with a lot of the trainers back at my home school in Illinois, and Jerome and Tom and the crew here has been working real hard with me. So I feel like I'm miles ahead of where I should really be, and I will be ready for when the season comes.
So just based on that, it actually sounds like Sid might be ready to go for the start of the regular season, which is just remarkable considering the fact that I think we initially all thought that he wouldn't be back until around maybe October or November, but whenever he is back, what kind of role do you envision him having? Alright, so I'm going to be covering the Eagles throughout the rest of this entire offseason and leading into next season and even beyond that. So if you don't want to miss any of that, make sure you subscribe, and also really importantly, turn on notifications so you're notified instantly when any of these videos are uploaded. And also, while you're at it, make sure you drop a like down below on this video to show some support, and leave a comment down below just regarding anything that I talked about in this video. And if you want to watch another video going over Jordan Mailata's new extension among other news, you can check this out right here. And now with all that being said, that's pretty much all I got for this one, guys. So thank y'all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.